just start with your message to the team this week and the importance of this one.
We want to get a home playoff game for our fans and for the ownership, right? So it's a big game. Gives us a chance to play home in front of our fans. It gives us an advantage there compared to going on the road. So big game for us. So I think the guys, always keep emphasizing don't lose the focus we've had lately. Laser focus going in this week.
Last week, in the Montreal game, Ottawa really hurt themselves with post-play penalties. Have you stressed to your team this week the importance of that?
Yeah, no question. I mean, we had the one, last week that cost us some points. Could have cost us an opportunity to get in the playoffs, right? So that's how important it is. One little mistake and, jeopardize your whole season. So selfish penalties for me is always an issue, and I don't have any tolerance for it. So I think those guys know that.
You guys have been kind of up and down throughout a lot of the season. Was Friday night the closest you've come to the team that you want this to be?
Yeah, I think the last month, I think we're starting to hit our stride a little bit. Haven't played as clean as we want to, right? We missed quarterback for 9 weeks. You get him back, and he doesn't have training camp, so he's worked through some rust. But I feel like the locker room's coming together at the right time, and I don't know why it's got to take this later in the year to get our focus where it needs to be to get in the playoffs. So, I'm pleased with the group right now.
D was really good early, and then kind of went through a rough spot. Is it getting players back that has brought you back to this, or is it just playing better?
Yeah, playing better. I think getting guys back too, right? So Winton, he's going in his third game back, and I think he's getting his legs back. We lost Brinkman for 6 weeks. We lost Flo for 6 weeks, so we lost some key parts on defense. So I feel like they're hitting their stride. They carried us last week. I thought they played great.
Winton I thought you couldn't take your eyes off him on Friday night. He was like the guy from other years. Is that what you need him to be that leader and that player? Yeah,
no doubt. I mean, leadership's been there all year, but Winton's a different maker, and when he plays great football, when he gets turnovers, we win. And I think he flew around the box, made some plays. He's great in coverage. He's great, fitting, run plays downhill. So seeing him back to his full strength, after the injury was great to see.
What sort of challenges does Ottawa present you defensively?
Yeah, they got a good scheme. I think Tommy's doing a great job with it. They'll have about 10 or 12 plays they're gonna throw at us early, take advantage of is it some type of trick play, some type of gadget. They're gonna try to push the ball down the field. So we got to keep them second long. Kind of control that game that way.
And then with Drew under center, did they change much with him at quarterback than say with Jeremiah?
I think they're pretty much the same. I think Tommy's got a trust with Jeremiah. They've been together for 4 or 5 years in Hamilton. So I thought Drew's played some good football. Unfortunately, he was injured, but I've seen some good strides out of him, and I mean he's a starter in this league. He's played some good football.
And lastly, the Red Blacks defense. I'm wondering what you have to do to counteract them.
Yeah, it starts up front, right? I mean they get after the passer, so we got to run the ball downhill. We got to control the line of scrimmage. Now we get the run game going. That's going to slow their pass rush a little bit. So we throw some screens in there. We just got to slow down their ends. Their ends are good players.
You were a quarterback. What would it be like to miss half of a season, not be involved, come in, play right away, probably not have all of the wrinkles out, and do what Chad's had to be able to do so far?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's credit to him, sticking through it. I mean, the 9 weeks away, I know that was hard on him, right? And mentally, he stayed focused through that. So showed mental toughness, and we grew together over the last 9 weeks, and he was a little rusty to start off with, but I thought he's added another spark to our football club.
Are you happy with the collection of plays that you're running with him and for him?
Yeah, I think we could do a better job of getting him out of the pocket a little bit more. We're pushing the ball downfield more than we had early in the year with some of the play actions. So we've got to protect him with the run game too, so we're balanced. We're not putting it all on him. I think go back to our last Ottawa game. We didn't run the ball enough, and when we did, we were effective. We try to get the pass game going, but we got to find a happy medium there.
You seem to run the ball really well in the first half of most games, or certainly at the beginning of most games, and then somehow you get away from it as the game goes on. Do you have to balance things more, or is that just how the games have worked out?
Well, some of the flow of the games, and there's been times where I probably threw it a little bit more in the second half to try to get our quarterback comfortable in what we're doing. That was probably happened a few different games where I could have ran it more in the second half. But, we start with our run game. It always starts there, and if we need to run it late in their game, we got to put the game away. We got to run the ball.
So how close is Chad, as you're heading to the last game of the season, to where he would have been at this point last year?
Yeah, I think he's getting there. I think the last 3 weeks you can see his comfort level coming back, and just he never played with Kai Polk before. Now they're finding a rapport. Him, Cokestein, and Davaris been together forever. So I feel like he's feeling comfortable and with the timing and the receivers, the way they run the routes, and so I feel like he'll have a big performance this weekend.
Does 10 get the ball enough?
Mattel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we try to get some ball in hand plays for him. He's another guy that missed most of training camp, and then then he spent the 6 games, first 6 weeks of the season. So being a rookie coming from CIS, we knew it was going to be a slow process for him. But he's making strides. He's playing good football.
Seems like every time he gets his hands on the ball, something happens. He's got that sort of air about him.
No doubt. And once he really picks up the CFL game, I see a big future for him. I mean, he could block around the box. He's great with the ball in hand. Now we got to clean up some route technique stuff, which he'll get there. And yeah, but he's his arrow's going up, and he's doing a good job.
Where is this football team compared to maybe where you were last year at this time, heading to the last game of the season?
I mean, the team has changed obviously a lot, right? I think just everybody, is still focused, which is great, because that's, what I feel like towards the end of the year we might have lost some focus. We were on a roll, but we're rolling right now. I think they're totally different teams, but I love the attitude we have right now, and I think it's going to keep going.
How do you personally feel?
I feel good. I'm glad to be out here, glad to be playing the sport that I love playing.
Are you at where you want to be football-wise, quarterback-wise?
I think there's
It
always
seems like there's been a pretty
think
good upswing.
Yeah, I think there's always room for improvement. Obviously missing camp in 9 games plus 2 preseason games, it's hard to get your feet wet right away. But I think people expected, a lot different outcomes the past couple games. Missing such a long part of the season, but I feel like we're just kind of hitting our cylinder right now to be able to keep elevating every day.
Friday night looked to me the first time I'd seen an Argo team that I thought could win the Grey Cup this season, compared to how you played earlier in the year, the way you guys played in Winnipeg.
I mean, I just think if we just have to come out every day with great confidence, and that's what it comes down to, playing complementary football, offense, defense, special teams, making explosive plays, and just kind of keeping ourselves in first and second manageable.
Are you the best quarterback in the league again?
That's for you to decide.
You said it's a different team this year, different offense. What do you like the most about this year's group?
Oh, man, I think just everybody's coming together at the right time. I think everybody's hungry. We got a lot of guys that want the ball every down, which is great. It's the aggressiveness, it's the the playmaking ability everybody wants to have. I just think everybody is really focused right now, and everybody wants to get better, not only in the game but on practice and in the film room.
In the receiving core, the biggest difference is Polk. What do you like the most about his game?
Man, he's a young guy. He's a young guy, and he's doing fantastic things. He's seeing the field really well. He's able to adjust on the fly and kind of see it from a veteran presence view. And I think his attitude, he doesn't speak much, but his play is obviously balls to the wall each play. He's not afraid to put his head down and make plays.
Perfect. Thank
You've
you.
got more options than I think you've probably ever had before, with the guys in the back, the 3 guys in the backfield, and probably 5 or more guys you can be throwing to. How does that change how you approach things?
Oh, I mean, look, you always want to have a great running game, but it obviously starts up front, right? And, that opens up the pass. Those guys run hard. They really love football, and you can see it the way they run the ball.
What you think of the D-line on Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, when they're playing like that, it's special, right? And helps us as an offense to be able to, play with that type of confidence that they're playing with.